right, we are here with Mr. Manolo Santiago, the co-founder and blender for Casa 1910 Cigars. Welcome to Miami, Manolo.
Thank you for having me. This this time, I'm very excited
So
for
are
this
we.
podcast.
So are we.
So are we. We love having visitors.
that
So-
bring tequila
Yeah.
and cigars,
I'm not prepared, but
but pretty prepared.
You're pretty
it's a
prepared.
little effort.
You're much more prepared than most of our guests. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So let's first, before we go into the introductions of who you are and your background and the company and the brand, let's talk about the cigar that we're smoking. We are smoking the Casa 1910 As de Oro, but this is part of the Soldadera series.
No.
Okay, all right. So I'm lost.
No worries. As the Oro, it's part of the Cavalry edition. Cavalry edition, it's 3 special cigars made in Esteli, Nicaragua, with a special blends with Nicaraguan tobacco and Mexican tobacco inside. We call it Cavalry edition because every name for each cigar is a name for a principal horse from Pancho Villa and Emiliano Zapata, the principal revolutionaries from Mexico, the Mexican Revolution.
Yep.
And every horse, it's a mixture of breeds. And in these cigars, it's a mixture of leaves.
I got
Okay.
it.
And
So the
and-
horses were like hybrids. And so you're calling this a hybrid because most of the stuff that comes out of Mexico is all Mexican tobacco.
Yeah,
This is Mexican and Nicaraguan tobacco.
actually,
Very
yes.
good, very good. I
Very
like
good.
that. I like that. I like when the names and the names of brands and things that when they have some other meaning underneath, right? It helps the consumer connect with it a little bit better.
I know.
So I like that. So it's called as in Spanish is As de Oro, but in English, if you're reading this,
Gold.
it just looks like As de Oro.
Yeah.
As de Oro is how you would say it. So, and that's the name, again, that's the name of Pancho Villa's horse.
Yes, the most elegant horse from Pancho Villa. And I made this cigar with 7 different types of tobacco. The Habano Ecuador for the wrapper, Mexican San Andres from the binder, and the filler, it's 5 different types of leaves from Ometepe, Jalapa, and Esteli.
Oh, fantastic. Well, so Ivan, you want to jump in and say your initial thoughts on the blend? Because we've never smoked this one.
No, and I just lit it right now. I would like to say right off the bat that I did visit Manolo in
we're gonna get into that,
Mexico
buddy.
City.
You
Okay,
relax. We'll get to
And-
that. We'll get to that.
And I tasted a lot of special stuff, but this one I don't think I have yet. So I'm very excited to get into it. So
Me too.
I ju- I
I've
just
never
love it.
had it. I mean, and you guys send us a lot of stuff, but I don't think we've ever gotten this. I don't think so. But if we did,
I'm
I
not
didn't-
sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because the last thing we smoked was the Soldadera edition, which was like
And the Torpedo one for Cabaret Edition, the Lucero.
oh, the Lucero was the other
Lucero.
one we smoked. That's right. So we smoked something from this line, but not this one. Ah, very good. So, and then you came with gifts aside from the cigars. So I say that before we go into any of that, we start a little bit of a pairing here. Right?
Okay.
Because you brought something that seems special to me from here,
Yeah.
from where I'm sitting.
Because, well, we are Casa 1910 and we are from Mexico and we need to make a very good Mexican pairings. Okay. So,
We are
We
all
ha-
about the pairing.
yeah, we have the Azoro from Cabaret Edition from Casa 1910. And right here, you have Reserva de la Familia tequila. It's a tequila reposado from Cuervo group or company.
Yep.
It's called Family Reserve. It's a premium stuff from.
That's a killer tequila.
Yeah,
Look at the packaging.
it's beautiful. Beautiful. It's a very classic bottle for tequila.
Getting some ASMR here. he knows.
You can see the wax seal, very classic, and the bubbles in the
And in the
glass.
glass, yeah.
It's beautiful, and the classic labeling. It's beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Very, very good tequila.
All right. So you keep talking. I will pour. That way you can.
So, I think I got some more flavor notes now that I've been smoking it. So it has a very like Nicaraguan woodiness to it. So I pick up a lot of it's like a cedar, but it's maybe like an oaky cedar that I get, and a lot of like nut, a little bit of earth, and it's in balance. There's no flavor that's coming out of balance so far.
Actually, in our boxes, you can see the shelf talker with the principal notes, organoleptic profile, and the blend and other things. So you can feel in the aroma profile the spices and the earthiness.
Yeah.
And maybe in your mouth you can feel sweetness and creamy, but the principal notes, it's spices, minerals, and woods, toasted woods. It's very interesting, and it's very evolutive. It's a because it's evolutive. I love the cigar, the evolution in the cigar. I love the evolution, the cigars who change it for the first part and the last part. It's amazing for me. It's amazing for me.
So yeah, I do get a little like of that spice punchiness right out of the gate, but again, it's not out of balance. If I had to give it a strength profile, maybe is it medium plus?
Yes, definitely. It's medium to full.
Yeah.
So I want to. Sometimes I jump in and translate a little bit because some of the words that we use, most people don't know. So you said it's evolutive. What you mean is that the smoke or the flavor profile evolves as it goes, and in our world, when we call them transitions. So that's what he's talking about. That he loves how much this blend transitions as the smoke goes across. Right?
Let me take a note because
it's
a very 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 good for me to learn more the correct words in every country. It's very important for me. Thank you so much for that.
When you said evolutive, I was like, I know he means evolutivo, that it evolves.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
But I know that that's not how our listeners are used to hearing that. So
transitions.
So yeah, transitions.
Okay. Perfect.
So man, I'm impressed with the cigar. I really am.
Thank you.
I think, like Ivan said, I think there's like you get that. Well, when I smelled it before lighting it, it was very Nicaraguan on the nose. And you get that like earth and the pepper that you expect out of Esteli. And then there's a nice little sweetness underneath that I imagine you're getting from the San Andres. Maybe the Jalapa is giving you a little bit of that too. So really nice, like a very well blended cigar. So
thank you.
We'll talk about the manufacturing of these later as we get down the line. But right now, I think we need to give this a shot.
How about a toast?
Yeah.
First of all, we need to say hi to the tequila to prepare our palate for the tequila because it's a little bit early, but in other places to the world, it's very night. So it's a perfect time to drink tequila. So, salud.
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 Thank you again.
Oh, thank you.
Cheers, y'all.
That's awesome. It's so smooth. Really good.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
This is for me, this kind of tequila is a really, really flavor of tequila. No ads, no flavoring, no color, just all natural for the agave plant, all natural for 3 different barrels. Is an important way to make this tequila. So for the pairing, every time I talk with all the people, you need to prepare your palate, you need to prepare your nose to receive correctly the flavors and the aromas and mix it behind the mouth, the flavors and the aromas.
So
yeah.
So
I think we're getting the cart before the horse here.
Yeah.
We'd like to tell our listeners that Manolo is like an expert at flavors because he had a career and he's a let's say a flavor ambassador. but we can get into his background now.
Well, first I'd like to get into what he taught you, because
We-
some background here.
We do talk about this on the show.
We
right.
talk about it quite a bit. That Ivan visited Mexico and attended the Casa 1910 experience with Manolo, and Manolo taught him some pairing strategies and techniques that Ivan has attempted to use on the show.
I've attempted. So okay,
Let's do that.
Yeah, let me
Let's have Manolo teach us. He taught you, but not me.
Okay, you go ahead. I'm bad at it.
Okay. No worries. So it's easy. And actually, I call it like a pairing yoga or cigar yoga because it's very relaxing. Okay, it's very relaxing
I love
activity.
yoga. I like this. Cigar yoga.
Yes.
I hope we're talking about the same thing. I might have not done this.
I apologize, Manolo.
Go ahead.
So, we have a couple of steps. The first of all, you need to make a big puff and take the smoke in your mouth. And like if you wash your mouth with the smoke for 3 to 5 seconds.
Okay.
And after that, you need to release very slowly the smoke. Immediately, you need to make a little sip for tequila, but direct to the stomach.
So don't
No-
slow down to taste it. Just straight
Yeah.
back.
Direct to the stomach, and exhale with your mouth slowly. And after that, you need to take more air and exhale with your nose very slowly. We can make together.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
First of all, big puff for the cigar. Release. Take a little sip of tequila. Take air again and exhale with your nose.
That was very relaxing.
That
Okay.
and that was
That is
much
not
better
how you
than
described it.
I did it backwards. I said a big gulp of the tequila and a small puff,
He's been doing
And
it
both-
wrong this
and
entire...
both straight to your stomach.
Please take note. Take a note.
That was... I don't know
So
if people
much
like...
better.
Yeah, I don't know
So
if people
much
like
better.
the silence for so long, but I thought that was very, very enjoyable.
For those, and by the way, for those that are just listening, this is available on our YouTube channel, so you can see what's going on here. with
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Great.
I would recommend it. Number one, you get to see the bottle, which is gorgeous, and you get to see Manolo's beautiful face with the mustache. It's a serious mustache,
Thank you,
my friend.
Thank you.
So, that was very nice. I wish this guy would have remembered it better because I thought that was very enjoyable. And you're right, you get the notes, but in a different kind of delivery, right? You get the like in terms from the agave from the tequila. I got that like really nice sweet grassiness
Yeah.
coming out on that final exhale through the nose. That was wonderful. I'd say that I'm that's the first time doing it right. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do it a few more times. I think what I got on that last release was the tequila, not so much the cigar. So I have to maybe try that again with a little more concentration on the cigar because this is all I was getting there at the end.
And I like how the flavor of the cigar smokes, like when you take a big puff and you swirl it around in your mouth, how it like all of your taste buds are like activated when you do that. So
And actually, the perfect pairing for this cigar, I need to say, and actually, I designed this blend for perfect pairing with a Nicaraguan rum. Not exclusive, but it's a perfect pairing. In every cigar for our lines in our portfolio, I designed every blend for a special pairing. For example, the Cuchillo Parado or flagship cigar or the Tierra Blanca, it's a Toro, all Negro San Andres. The special pairing, it's Reposado tequila or Añejo or Extra Añejo tequila. But for this one, I prefer the Nicaraguan rum because the minerals and the flavors, it's more similar for this cigar. But this tequila fits very great with this cigar, but in the second third, because the first third it's more less complex for the tequila, is because you can feel more the tequila
Yeah,
in,
the tequila
in the
wiped
pairing
out the
of
cigar.
exercise.
It,
Yeah,
it wiped it out. So yeah, I think we're gonna keep practicing that.
Yeah.
But I think we should.
we have more tequila for
we have
practicing.
more tequila. So
no worries.
thank God for that. So let's talk a little bit about your background, because I wanted to get into the cigar first and the pairing, but I think people should know more about you, right? So, how did, in brief, how did your career in cigars start and evolve into today, where you're at Casa 1910?
Sure, it's a funny story because I'm attorney.
Well, you're an attorney.
Yeah, but I prefer to be happy and share the happiness.
I like that.
It's because I take some certifications around the administration of the bars, the service in the hotels and restaurants, and definitely in that time I'm falling in love in the spirits area, in the mixology and the cocktails.
So let me back up. You were an attorney, and then you went into, like, let's say, audit bars and restaurants and hospitality,
yeah,
and you started to fall in love with the spirits business.
yeah, the wines and the spirit business. So I go to a lot of places to learn more about the tequila, of course, because I'm from Jalisco.
Oh, you are literally from Jalisco.
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes. So I go to Tequila Jalisco, to Arandas, to learn more about tequila, but I need to learn more because for me, a certification is just a piece of paper. If you don't make a proper research, a proper learning, and the correct questions for the source. So I go to the Spaniard circle for sommelier wine, and I take a proper certification in Spain for wine, and in that time it's my first touch and my first approach with the premium cigars. So I smoked before, but nothing like with my teacher in sommelier, and he told me how to cook, how to smoke correctly, and I falling in love again with the tobaccos. And he
So
told me
how old are you at this point?
17 years, 18 years.
18 years old?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So wait, you had already graduated as an attorney?
yeah.
At 18?
No.
Oh.
I'm a study attorney, but in
Okay.
my holidays, in my vacations,
Uh-huh.
I go to other places to learn more about the sommelier area, Scotch whiskey, and
Okay.
other things. So um,
So then in Spain, you fall in love with cigars.
yes,
And that's because you had the right person, the guy who knew, teaching you how to cut, how to
Definitely.
light, how to enjoy it.
yes.
And so what were you guys smoking at that point?
In that time, I smoked the Epicure #2 from Hoyo de Monterrey from Cuba.
So that was the one that you
That's
fell
the
in love
one.
with. Okay.
Broke
Yes.
his cherry.
Yeah. Well, I was waiting for you to say that.
And my teacher told me, if you like the tobacco, you need to go to the source. Like, you come to Spain and learn more about wine, you need to go to Cuba, you need to go to Nicaragua, DR, and Mexico, of course. And I say, why not? I'm here. I need to go that places. And he connect me for a lot of people in Cuba, and I take a lot of a lot of questions for the farmers, for the rollers, the factory chiefs on the different factories
Yeah,
in
the
La Habana,
supervisors. Yeah.
the supervisors, and you know more people, you know more you make more connections. And in one time, Habanos offered me a job in Habanos S.A. to marketing area in Mexico, and I I learned more about the Cuban tobacco, and I take the proper certification in Habanos Academia. So I take the Master Habanos Sommelier and other certifications there. And in one time, I'm meeting with Jamie and Serge for my business partners in Casa 1910. So we talk about the Mexican tobacco industry and why Mexico don't have a lot of brands for premium cigars, because in Mexico we have uh, many brands, but very locals, but no more for other countries.
Not a
Glo-
lot of not a lot
global.
of export.
Or global.
Yeah,
Global
no
brands.
global.
Yeah.
So, and the principal question for us is why a lot of brands from Nicaragua, from Honduras, from DR make a very great cigars with a Mexican Negro San Andres wrapper or
Yeah.
binder, but what happened with the filler? What happened with the Mexican puro? So it's because we take the challenge for make a good cigar to share the people with all around the world the quality and the flavors and the soul for Mexican tobacco.
Is there a law that says Mexican? Because I've heard of something about this, that Mexican puros have to be 100% Mexican cigars, or
Well, Mexican puro.
No,
would
no, I
already
know,
be-
I know,
yeah.
I know.
But no, we were gonna get to that in when we talk about manufacturing.
okay,
We will discuss that part.
All right.
So let's just kind of stay on the track of your background. So Habanos offers you a job, and you take it.
Yes,
So you take this job of being sort of is it a brand ambassador for Habanos SA in Mexico?
brand ambassador and marketing manager.
And marketing manager for Habanos SA, which is again the Cuban government's arm of cigar
Retailer.
production.
Yeah.
And so you're working with Cuban cigars in Mexico.
Yes.
And so at what point, as you mentioned Serge and Jamie, and so at what point in this, let's have some context. What year are we talking about that you were doing this in Mexico as a Cuban cigar ambassador?
Well,
More or less.
2017. Yeah.
Okay. So 2017, you're doing that. And then how do you know Serge and Jamie? By the way, those are his partners in Casa 1910. And so how do you meet them?
Well, Jamie and Serge, it's Swiss guys living in Mexico City, and they have a special community. Actually, the Swiss community. A lot of Swiss people living in Mexico, so they make proper meetings for networking and stuff and social parties. And in one time, they offer me to make a pairing guide and a pairing event with a Swiss community in Mexico.
Ah, okay.
So I made the pairing, the chat, and we talk a lot of cigars and tobaccos and rum, because we talk about the Cuban rum. So when we finish the event, Jamie is close to me and make a lot of questions about the Mexican tobacco. So I talked with Jamie about the Mexican tobacco industry and the same things. Why Mexico don't have a lot of representation?
Yeah, export brands. Yeah.
Or export brands, and we talk a lot, maybe a couple of hours, and
There was no alcohol in this conversation.
Oh, probably not.
and they told me, hey, maybe we need to talk more in other day in a proper dinner to smoke and chat about the small project. And in the after that, we take a proper dinner and we talk about the why why how can make a proper cigar brand in Mexico. And I say we have the manners for we can make that project,
The resources.
the resources. So that's the point, the break point for make Casa 1910. And since that, we make a lot of work, not just for the my proper research for the Mexican tobacco, for the proper factory, for the proper farmers. So we believe in the very great balance between a good packaging, good history behind the brand and the cigars, and good quality cigars.
Yeah.
And it's because we we take a lot of time. We they take a lot of work behind the name, the selection of the colors, the logotype, the history, and our first blend, the Cuchillo Parado, our flagship, the Robusto. I made this cigar with Negro San Andres all filler, Negro San Andres binder, and Mexican Sumatra wrapper. And we present the brand officially in PCA in 2021 with one cigar,
Yeah.
the Cuchillo Parado. It's very funny because when the people come to our booth in PCA and, okay, what's your brand? Casa 1910. Okay, where you from? From Mexico. From Mexico. Really? Yeah. And okay, show me your cigars. Well, I have one cigar.
Yeah.
No, one cigar. Yeah, one cigar. Why? Because we believe in when you take our cigar for the box, it's perfect to smoke. It's perfect to smoke. So in that time, we have other projects in the aging process, but they in that time those cigars not make a proper aging
They weren't ready.
for release.
Yeah.
It's because I take the option for we need to show just one cigar. And Search and Jamie asking me, really, Manolo, are you sure? One cigar? Yes, one cigar, because that cigar is perfect right now to smoke. The other one, no.
Can I throw in something in? So why not? This is just, I know this is a little late because that was 2021, but why not bring all of the expressions, but only give that sample? Since you knew that eventually the other ones were going to be ready, right? They just needed more time.
Well,
No, I was just like, that's what I would have
yeah,
thought about.
Actually, Search and Jamie tell
Yeah,
me that.
came up with that. Yeah,
but
sure.
I convince to Search and Jamie and I say, maybe it's out of the box to show just one cigar, Mexican cigar, and we have tequila and we have mariachis. And if you remember in TPE and PCA, every time we have cigars, tequila, and mariachi.
Yep.
So
No, you guys made a big splash. You know, like every time you'd hear the mariachis, you're like, oh, these guys are cranking it up again.
yeah.
And
Where's the
so-
mariachi? With
Yeah.
Casa 1910. What's Casa 1910? Look the orange.
Yeah.
Look in the orange.
Yeah. And do I have this right? It was the Fuente booth, and then you guys were on the other side of it?
In PCA, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. In front of Perdomo,
Mm-hmm.
behind JC Newman and Arturo Fuente
Yeah, it was a good spot.
on the right. Yes.
It was a good
We
spot.
we are very lucky in the so a lot of manners.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of how Casa 1910 was born, right? And so let's talk a little bit about the manufacturing, because so you have Ivan touched on earlier. So in Mexico, up until recently, a Mexican cigar factory could only use Mexican tobacco.
Yes.
Now, when did that change? And explain how. So this is a very obviously a protectionist sort of policy to do that, right? So if you're making cigars in Mexico, you have to use 100% Mexican tobacco. And then when did that change?
Well, in sometimes I don't remember the correct time or the correct years, but in Mexico, the legislation, the legislation, it's very awkward about the tobacco industry.
Yep.
Because the proper politicians, not in a lot of manners, don't make a proper separation between cigars from cigarettes. And it's because we have a lot of troubles. And right now we have a special cigar ban or smoker ban in Mexico. So in one time, we have totally prohibited to import to Mexico other kind of leaves.
So you were prohibited from importing raw material from other tobacco producing countries.
Exactly. So in a couple of years ago, we can to import the other kind of leaves.
So they opened that up where you could import.
Yes.
And so, but you guys, so that catches up to today, you guys still produce 100% Mexican cigars in your Mexico facility.
Yes.
Which is where?
In Veracruz, in the Tuxtla.
In Veracruz, and in San Andres Tuxtla.
Uh-huh.
So that's where you have the it's a small factory, right?
Uh-huh.
It's 10 rollers, you said?
We just have 10 cigar rollers,
Yep.
but in the Cuban way.
In the Cuban way. So in other words, not in parejas, not in pairs. So in Cuba and in Casa 1910, the roller, the buncher is the roller is the buncher. It's only one person. So that person is in charge of the entire process, as opposed to Mexico, Dominican Republic, Honduras, where they work mostly in pairs,
Yes.
where you have one buncher and one roller applying the wrapper. So you guys are doing it in the very Cuban style. And then, but it's a small production, right?
Yes. Every cigar roller make between 80 to 120 cigars per day. So we have a very small production.
Yeah.
It's because we just produce the Revolutionary Edition, the Mexican Puro in Mexico. And we need, and actually, I talked with Jamie and Serchen, hey guys, I need to explore more tobacco flavors, and we need to expose and make a good highlight to the flavors and the aromas from Mexican tobaccos.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's what the rest of the world is doing.
Yes.
Right. You have excellent cigars being made with Mexican wrappers and binders. We need to do the same, right? That's your thinking. So then who do you go to do that for you? So you started exploring what, Dominican Republic, Nicaragua. Did you check Honduras?
My first options it's Nicaragua and DR.
Okay.
So because it's my more closet connection and my closet approach for other tobaccos. So I go to Nicaragua and I go to DR to explore factories, to make a proper analysis and research for their production and their process. So we make the second release. It's a Cavalry edition made in Nicaragua, Esteli. And the third release, it's a Soldadera edition made in DR.
And so
all with Mexican tobaccos. All our cigars has Mexican tobaccos inside, but I make blends with not just for Mexican wrapper, not just for the Mexican binder. I use the fillers, I use the binder, I use actually different tobaccos. For example, in Soldadera edition, I have La Coronela, and I made this cigar with a Bano Ecuador for the wrapper, Brazilian Arapiraca in the binder, and Mexican and DR filler. So I love to make experiments and explore new flavors and more sensations for me. It's my passion
And
right now.
you always have a spirit that you try to pair it with in mind when you're coming up with these blends.
Yes. When I make the blends, I think about the principal goals. Maybe one kind of organoleptic profile, what kind of flavors. But when I make the blend, every time all changes, all
Sure.
kinds of changes. So when I make a blend, I make first of all a Mareva shape. It's a very tight cigar, 42 for ring gauge and 129 millimeters for length. So when I make the proper blend, I experiment for different shapes, and I selected one shape for each blend because for my side, for my experience, I every time when you taste a complex portfolio for one line or maybe one cigar in different shapes, one is the best.
Yeah.
In my experience.
Of course, yeah, it happens like that.
So I make just one blend in one shape because the perfect expression for that blend it's in the size, and we sell it.
So
that has its benefits and its cons, of course.
Well, in all honesty, every cigar manufacturer ends up doing that same thing. Okay, because there's no way that you say, oh, the Mareva has this percent of Jalapa, this percent of Teli, and this percent of and then you just increase it as you go. It doesn't work that way. So everybody reblends. The difference is that you give it a completely different name, right? Now, you don't change the wrapper or the binder. You're just changing the filler blend, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that is essentially the same thing that everybody does. It's just you call it. So for example, this is the Casa 1910 Cavalry edition, and this is the As de Oro.
Yes.
And so you have to create a new blend when you do the Hilguero, right?
The Gordo, for example.
Yeah, which is a 6x60.
It's a Negro San Andres on the wrapper, Esteli binder, and other kinds.
So the wrapper is different on that one.
Yes.
It is a completely different blend.
Completely different.
Okay, that's different.
Yeah. For example, the Revolutionary Edition, the Robusto, it's a Negro San Andres filler, binder Negro San Andres, and Mexican Sumatra on the wrapper. But the same line, but the Toro size, it's a Tierra Blanca. It's all Negro San Andres, filler, binder, and wrapper. But I made with different tobaccos because all tobaccos from the Tierra Blanca growing in the same farm, but with different seasons. The Seco and the Ligero growing in the dry season, and the Visus, binder and wrapper, in the raining season. And it's different process in fermentation because it's every leaf has different oils and different strength.
Sure, yeah, and
you need different fermentation process and aging.
Of course, yeah, they'll have different thicknesses, right? In the dry season, the tobacco is going to be thicker because it's trying to protect itself from the sun, and so in the rainy season, you're going to lose a lot of oils because of the rain. So yeah, it has to be treated completely different. So that's very interesting that you guys go that deep into it, right?
And don't get COVID because the whole brand's in trouble.
Yeah.
If your taste palette goes, we're in trouble. Let me ask you something. What's been the most successful or the one that's been best-selling so far of the cigars?
Well, right now, I think, for Revolutionary Edition, maybe the Tierra Blanca, the Toro. It's the most selling cigar for Revolutionary Edition. And it's the perfect way to know the Mexican tobaccos. And the Cavalry Edition, right now, the As de Oro is the most selling cigar. And from Soldadera Edition, the San Petrina, the older Robusto. It's a Connecticut from Ecuador for the wrapper. It's a very special Dominican Criollo for the binder, and Mexico and Dominican tobaccos from the filler. Is the best one. is the best-selling cigar for the Soldadera edition.
Very good. I'm enjoying the As de Oro very much. And I think we're getting into the halfway mark. Can you tell us a little bit, what do you think has changed in it so far?
Mm. In the first part, maybe you can feel more spiciness and more toasted flavors. And the second part, maybe it's more sweet. And the woods, it's more like a cedar wood, and the cinnamon, it's a little bit
Elevated,
Yes,
for sure.
for sure.
And I love the creaming sensations and the oils, and the elegance for the smoke. It's very great for me, this cigar.
You know what's interesting about this blend is in the very beginning, when I first lit it, it could have been it could have been a Cuban cigar in how sort of balanced it was, creamy, and it had the little nuttiness, but the flavors were kind of subdued, relaxed. They felt like old world kind flavors.
Yeah.
And now in the second half,
It's ramped
it's
up.
a Nicaraguan cigar.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting how much of a transition it has taken. So that's kind of, to your point of saying that you like how this cigar changes. Holy crap, it changes like crazy. It almost changed countries, for in the way that it performs. I agree. Everything is sort of ramped up right now. So the earthiness, the pepper, the cinnamon is cranked up, and the creaminess is delicious right now. It gives you that like coating creaminess in the back as you finish the cigar. Your finish is nice and creamy and long. Really well done. I like the smoke. What is do you know the MSRPs of
in all our cigars, is between from the 50 to
15
to $21, $22.
So this, I'm looking
Depends
at
the size. So
yeah, I'm looking at the Cavalry edition, which is what we're smoking. The As de Oro, this one, is
6 by 52,
6 by
54.
6 by 54. It's $16.89. The 6 by 60 is $17.89, and the Torpedo, the Lucero, 6 by 54 is $17.49.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, really, really nice smoke. I'm enjoying it. I loved it with the tequila. That was, I think I need a refill.
Me too.
Timeout.
Another tasting.
All right, we got our refill, so we're back. And so Manolo, let's talk really, really brief. Let's kind of put this all together. Where can people buy the Casa 1910 today? Like, what are you in all 50 states, or what's your distribution like in the U.S. right now?
Well, right now we have presence in kind of 150 stores in US, and the principal states, and we have presence, maybe it's California, Arizona, Texas, here in Florida, of course, New York, Chicago, Illinois, and other states, but maybe
of course.
it's
those are
the
the
most bigger
that's the
expressions. And in other countries, we have presence in Europe, in Spain, UK, Serbia, Germany, Montenegro, other countries from that part, and we work in other representation areas right now. And actually, the next week I'm going to London to make a proper event for pairings with tequila and cigars, of course.
Oh, crazy.
It's crazy. Yes.
That's fantastic. So if people want to find more information about Casa 1910, what's the website?
Well, we have casa1910.com, and our social media networks is Casa 1910 Cigars or Casa 1910 MX from Mexico, MX. Or my personal handle, it's Manolo 1910 Cigars. You can send me your answers about cigars, about tequila, about...
Don't send them the answers. Send them the question.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, the questions. And about the spirits, I love to talk about the spirits and pairings. About life, please don't make questions for me,
no
because
personal questions.
no, I don't control my life, so I can help you with, with
Yeah,
your life.
yeah.
So,
So we
about
got
cigars and spirits, I love to.
I would add, if there are any retailers that are listening to this, I would look into visiting the Casa 1910 experience and seeing if there's a possibility for them to travel out there, because it's a cigar event, cigar destination that it's very unique. It's an opportunity to taste these cigars right
in their element.
in their element,
Hmm.
and then you get to meet Manolo and the team over there, and then it's a great way to pretty much put your palate at in a experimental position where you get to try these excellent cigars, spirits that they curate themselves,
food-
and then
the
the
food
food
is-
is second to
Food,
none.
cocktails.
The food is excellent. So and the history, which they always tie into every aspect of it, is very, very well done.
Do you guys think Ivan enjoyed his time at Casa 1910 experience
It's very
or
good.
what?
It's very good.
He loved it. He loved it. He came back raving about it.
Great.
So that's what we got, man. That's what we got for Casa 1910. I do have one last thing. So a listener of the podcast sent in a question that I'm curious to what your thoughts are. He wanted to know, it's about the term boutique in boutique cigars. And so he wanted to know, at what point does a cigar brand stop being boutique? Is it size? Is it the way they do things? What are your opinions on the word boutique as a sort of category for a cigar brand, like a boutique cigar brand? Would you consider Casa 1910 a boutique cigar?
It's a very interesting question, because it's very similar from the spirits industry. So, for example, this tequila, it's for a very, very big company.
Yeah,
But-
arguably the biggest tequila
but-
producer.
This tequila, it's very artisanal.
Exactly.
So, in what time you can say it's not a big production tequila, it's not artisanal, because all process is very artisanal. For example, all other kind of factories. I don't know. For example, it's made by hand. The cigars, it's made by hand.
Yeah, but
So-
let's use that's a good sort of analogy to use, the spirit world. So in tequila, you can make tequila by harvesting. Obviously, you have to harvest agave, and then you cook it in either a steam oven,
Mhm.
like an autoclave,
Yes.
or you can cook it in an earthen pit, right? The way that the mezcaleros do it.
Ooh, showing off his tequila expertise.
Come on now, man.
Go ahead.
I'm,
Go
try-
ahead.
I'm trying to help the gentleman who
Go ahead.
Matt Bruno, who asked the question.
Sure.
So you can make it in either of those ways, and then you obviously have to tear apart the agave after you cook it, and then you have to use either like a commoditized yeast strain, or you can use your own yeast strain that maybe the wild yeast strain from the area. So even within an artisanal process like making tequila or mezcal, there's varieties, right? There's levels of artisanal, right?
Of course.
And so when we talk about that, I think that the spirit or the tequila conversation kind of breaks down, because it's hard to call it artisanal when you're cooking mass amounts of agaves in steam ovens. It's hard to go all the way artisanal because you're cooking these things in a massive oven. In cigars, there's no way to speed up the process. There's no, other than using machines, which now no longer is a premium cigar. So when we're talking about premium cigars, they're all made by hand. The leaf is still grown the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what makes it different? I think you can maybe make arguments about
Maybe the volume.
correct how many.
Yield,
That's what I was going to get at. So you use the Winterman's machine, right, to bunch, which speeds up the process, right, and now you can make 3, 4, 500 cigars a day with pairs, or you can make it the way that you guys are making it, which is 100 and something cigars a day per person. And so there's differences, but I really have a problem with the word large cigar manufacturers that still produce cigars in that same 1 to 200 cigars per day, but they're very large, so you don't call them boutique.
Right.
So it's a tricky word. I've never been a fan of the word boutique cigar brand because it
gets
doesn't
used,
mean
yeah,
anything.
Yeah, it gets used way too much. You know,
Yeah.
I get
It's
confused with
very tricky names and categories.
Yeah.
I think so. Depend the point of view for the owner, for the tobacco shop, of the consumer, or the aficionado. Depends all thing. I don't usually use that kind of word. I use the type of more artisanal or more industrial process, but one thing I know, or process. One thing I know, I'm looking for small factories. They can put a lot of love and passion in my cigars, and I need to go to see the selection of the tobaccos. I need to check the batches. I need to check every batch before they pack in the boxes. And for us, it's very important, that kind of things, that kind of process. And it's because we are 1910 Cigar, a Mexican brand, a small brand, and that's it.
Yep. No, I get it. Like I said, I just wanted to throw that out there because anyone who uses the term boutique would look at Casa 1910 and say they're boutique. However, you guys make some of your cigars in your own factory, but you make other cigars at other factories. So did you stop being boutique, right? So that's the tricky part of using the word boutique. So sorry, Matt, I don't think we answered much for you there. But I would like to one more time to like end the show. Let's do the Manolo. Does this have a name?
We're calling it the Manolo.
The Manolo.
Yes.
Right?
Manolo Santiago.
No. I'm saying the technique.
The technique
of tasting the spirit with the cigar. Do you have a name for it? Because if not, we're calling it the Manolo.
No, but I need to say something. Every exercise and every cigar made by me, or every blend made by me, is the result for all my masters, all my teachers. So I can say it's a Manolo exercise because it's the result for the knowledge transmitted for my teachers from me. And I need to share all my knowledge for the aficionados. A little bit for my knowledge, or a lot of my knowledge, I know, but I need to share the happiness and the experience for the proper spirit, or the good tea, or the good coffee, or a good pairing. I need to share the knowledge from my teachers, because if you don't share your knowledge, the knowledge is gone. It's death.
It dies with you, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's not fair.
It's not fair. And
speaking of death, I think somebody's getting killed next door because there's
I
a drill
know.
going on. So we apologize for any background noise.
Yeah, there's nothing we could do. It's our neighbor decided to do some construction at this point. So
No worries. If we recording in Mexico, maybe we can hear se venden, se compran, o tamales. It's very good. It's very good. No
all
worries.
right, so I feel better about it now. But anyway, thank you again. Let's do and that's very humble of you to
It's very nice of
give
you.
credit to your teachers,
Your mentors
that have gotten you to this point. Yeah, your mentors.
No, that's it is.
But we will continue to call it the Manolo. So let's do the Manolo one
last
more time.
Yes.
Deep puffs, everyone. Swirl it around your mouth.
release the smoke, and a little tip.
So the cigar comes through a lot more now. The cigar is obviously a lot stronger now
Yes.
than it was early on.
And the alcohol in the tequila is a lot more subtle.
Now it feels more subtle.
Feels
at
right.
least.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, we've also desensitized the crap out of it. We've had 2 shots of this thing. So that wonderful, man. I love that. I hope you guys try that. I hope you try the Manolo. I love it. I think it's a really cool way to enjoy a cigar, and I regret that Ivan never taught us the right way because we would have really enjoyed it and given you much more credit before. We thought you were a madman. When he came telling us that you taught him this, I was like, who would teach you that? But this is wonderful. Really, really nice. I enjoyed it.
No, thank you so much.
Thank you for your visit. Thank you for the gifts, the cigars. Best of luck to you guys. And you guys stay tuned to the next one. Bye.
Cheers.
All right. Thanks for watching Cigar Snob on YouTube. If you enjoyed that, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to check out more of our content, go to the channel and you'll see mail time videos, podcasts, interviews with cigar insiders, and photo shoots with smoking hot models. And if you want even more Cigar Snob in your life, we will print a magazine and ship it straight to your house. It's a crazy idea, I know, but we're trying this out. Cigarsnob.com to do that. And otherwise, we'll see you later.